Good afternoon, Concord. Brother Jason here. Just coming to you this afternoon with some updates regarding our meeting last night, the task force meeting. I know many of you are wondering what the future is regarding our trying to come back into the sanctuary for corporate worship. And I think it was the hope of some that we would be able to do that by this Sunday. Um, and so the task force met last night regarding this, and because of the amount of preparation that's going to have to go into coming back into the sanctuary, the task force does not feel like it is feasible for us to try to do that for this Sunday. First of all, the plan is going to need to be voted on by the board, and so that's one of many things that's going to have to happen. We're going to have a board meeting to go over the exact plan and the specifics of that. I'm not going to get into right now, but the task force will present the plan for their reopening of the sanctuary at the board meeting, which we are hoping can occur on Sunday, this Sunday, July the 12th, after the 9 o'clock service outside. And so, again, it's the task force suggestion that we not meet or not try to meet in the sanctuary. In fact, we cannot meet in the sanctuary this Sunday until things happen in there that have not and most likely will not be able to happen before Sunday. Per the many CDC guidelines, per the recommendations from the conference, there's just a lot of stuff that we need to do or have done, a lot of things that we need to have as far as supplies. And many of those are also pending board approval for us to purchase, things that we'll need to purchase. And so the task force does not feel like this Sunday is a possible date for us to be in the sanctuary. Again, I know that everybody is more than ready to be in the sanctuary, myself included. But in order for us to do it appropriately and in order for us to make sure that all of our bases are covered and that everything is done, that we are doing everything that we can possibly do to ensure the health and safety of our church members, this Sunday we will plan on meeting outside at the 9 o'clock service as usual, and then have a board meeting shortly after that. We'll just remain under the shade tree out yonder and have the board meeting right out there so that we can formally have the vote on, hopefully, if we can get everything done, moving into the sanctuary by July the 19th, which is the following Sunday, as an additional service. We will also try to continue doing the 9 o'clock outside service for those. We know because of social distancing, we won't be able to fit everybody in the sanctuary, so we'll try to kind of reserve the 11 o'clock sanctuary service for only for those that absolutely want to come to that. And everyone else, if you don't mind coming to the outside service, we'll plan on having that as well. But again, we'll share some of the specifics of this plan at the board meeting. And so you can look forward to that. The good news is that we are closer church now than we have been. Again, we're all more than ready to be back inside the church, but we also want to do it appropriately and safely. And so if that means putting it off another week, then at least the task force suggestion is that we try to do that. Regarding that, again, I know that there's a lot of strife. Not just in our church, but in churches all over. I was talking to the DS today, and he said, this is something that we see in every one of our churches. Some people are ready to go back in the church, and some not so much so. And we obviously can't please everybody. And so this is something that the struggles that we are having within our church is something that is not unique to our church. And so because of that, I would just want to remind everyone that we are still a church and that above all we should strive to be patient with one another, be loving and kind to one another. We are all doing the best that we can do. And so let's all strive to show as much patience and love to one another as we can. The task force is doing the best that they can do to do the work and to make the suggestions that they can, that they make to the board. I, as your brand new pastor, I'm doing the best that I can do. We're all doing the best that we can do because none of us have ever led a church or a business or anyone through a pandemic before. And so let's remind ourselves of that today. In thinking about this, I was reminded of a couple of things. The first thing last night I mentioned to the task force is Wesley's 3 simple rules. And some of you may be familiar with these 3 simple rules, and they were quite frankly that Wesley said to do no harm, to do good, and to attend to the ordinances of God, which is basically to stay in love with God. As some have interpreted it. And Wesley said, if we try to do those things, then we will always find ourselves in the will of God. If we strive to do all the good that we can do, if we strive not to do any harm to anyone, and obviously if we strive to stay in love with God, then we will always find ourselves in the will of God. And ultimately, that's what we all want. For our church, we want to be in the will of God. And so let's strive to seek His will more than our own. Let's strive to seek the good of the whole church instead of just the good of, myself or yourself or any one of ourselves. Let's look out for one another. I was also, again, reminded of the verse from Romans where Paul told the Roman church, as far as it depends on me, let me live at peace with everyone. So let that be all of our prayers today, that as far as it depends on me, you guys, as far as it depends on you, let it be your prayer to strive to be as peaceable and as patient with everyone as we possibly can be, because as the church, that's what we are called to do, and we want to give a good witness for our church, and so let's strive to do that. I love you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a shout out. You can call me, text me, send me an email. My phone number is area code 706-834-7414. My email address is jwowens@live.com. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Task force members, I know you're probably watching this. If I have misquoted or misinterpreted anything that we talked about last night, please feel free to correct me either in an additional video or a comment on this video or what have you. I am open for that. Let's work together, church, and we'll be back together in worship in the sanctuary very soon. Love you all. See you soon. Thanks. Bye.